A really helpful model for coaches, at least I believe, comes from Simon Sinek in his book, Start with Why. It's not a book for coaches, but it certainly is a book coaches can benefit from reading, exploring, and implementing some of the ideas. So in the book, he shares a simple model he calls the golden circle. And so the golden circle has actually three concentric circles. The outermost is the circle of what. It's kind of what you get or what you produce, the results you get. And it's the place that's the least distinct. You could also think about this in terms of like what you do if you were a business. So what Chick-fil-A does, they sell fast food. So does McDonald's, so does Burger King, so does Popeyes, so forth. The next circle in, though, is where there's more distinction. It's how you go about doing what you do, getting the results that you get. It's where you're a little more differentiated from the rest of the crowd. And so, again, just using a simple model like Chick-fil-A, they're known for their quality, their politeness, their cleanliness, known for being closed on Sundays. So there's some distinct ways that they go about how they do what they do. But the inner circle is where there's the most distinction. In fact, there might even be a uniqueness. It's why you do what you do, the purpose or the mission. So again, just using a simple model like Chick-fil-A, they're motivated to honor God by serving their customers and their employees. So they have a very faith-driven mission. Not all companies have faith as their why. Apple Computers, what do they do? They're a technology company. They make, hardware and software in the technology as well as media. They do a lot. How do they do it? Well, they're known for their user interface, their quality. They really you kind of create maybe the best experience, hopefully, for their users. Their why is that they are wanting to empower the creatives of the world to change the world. So now you might think, no, that's not. For Apple, they're motivated by money. By the way, money or profit or revenue is the least differentiating characteristic of any business or enterprise or whatever. So, it applies to everybody. So it's not really the distinctive why for anyone. So as a coach, you want to start with why in your communication. You want to be clear about it. So what most people do is they communicate from the outside in. What do you do? Oh, I'm a coach. Oh, okay. How do you do that? Well, I work with leaders. I, ask questions. I have a framework maybe. And then we hope that we get to the point where we can describe why we do it. Oh, I feel called by God to develop others, or, I get a deep sense of satisfaction by helping people live into their potential, whatever that might be for you as your why. The encouragement and advice from Simon Sinek, and again, I believe this is really helpful, is to start your communication with your why. It's the thing people can really latch onto and connect to the most. It's the most kind of passionate. It's the most enticing. It's really where you can resonate with people. And so this would be true for you in your marketing, whether it's print or if you're doing social media marketing, your website, but it's also just true in your conversations as you meet people and as you network, and they ask you about yourself. Instead of starting with what you do, hopefully moving to how you do it, and finally to why you do it, just start with why. So they say, hey, tell me about yourself. Well, I really feel called by God to impact the lives of leaders who have high influence. Really? How do you go about that? Well, I have a coaching practice where I talk one-on-one and help with leaders and their teams around strategy, around people development, and really just about helping them get tuned into the kind of what motivates them and making sure they have the skills and the tools, but also the right motivation. Oh, really? Well, what's that look like? Well, it's a business consulting firm and coaching firm called Strong Lead, where we help coaches or help businesses here in the area. So again, that's right off the top of my head. But that's an example of just kind of communicating from the inside out, starting with why, moving to how, and finally with what you do. Because people do want to know, what kind of results do you get? What kind of business is this? It's a kind of tangible part of it. So it's not that any of this is unimportant. It's just that you want to start with why. So check out Sinek's book, maybe apply it to your own coaching practice. It might be something that you can also implement with some of your clients.
Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content.